Hello, friends. Welcome to the English Reader. Today, I have a wonderful story to share with you. It's called The River of Dreams. This story is full of motivation, adventure, and life lessons. It will also help you learn new English words, improve your sentence flow, and grow your confidence in listening and understanding English. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. Let's begin the story together. Part 1. The River and the Boy. In a quiet village, far from the city, there lived a boy named Arav. He was 14 years old. He had black hair, brown eyes, and a very kind heart. He lived with his father, his mother, and his little sister, Ria. Their house was small but warm. It stood near a wide, gentle river. The river was clear and beautiful. It brought water to the fields, fish to the people, and joy to the children. Every morning, Arav woke up early. He helped his mother with the cooking. He helped his father in the field. He helped his sister with her studies. But Arav had a dream. A big dream. He wanted to become a writer. He loved words. He loved stories. He loved to read. Every day after work, he sat near the river and read old books. Sometimes, he wrote his own small stories on pieces of paper. But Arav had a problem. His English was not strong. He could read some words. He could understand a few sentences, but he could not speak well. He could not write long stories in English. Still, Arav didn't give up. He said to the river, "One day, I will speak English. I will write in English. I will tell stories to the whole world." The river listened silently. Part 2. A Stranger Comes. One sunny afternoon, Arav sat under a tree, reading an old English book. Suddenly, a man walked by. He was tall, with a camera around his neck and a backpack on his shoulders. He looked like a traveler. The man smiled and said, "Hello." Arav stood up quickly. He was nervous. Hello," he said. "What's your name?" the man asked. "Arav," he answered shyly. "Nice to meet you, Arav. I'm Mr. Leo. I'm from Canada. I travel around the world and write about people and places." Arav's eyes became wide. "A writer?" he asked. "Yes," Mr. Leo laughed. "I write in English. Do you like stories?" "Yes," Arav said louder this time. "I want to be writer too, but my English is not good." Mr. Leo smiled kindly. "Don't worry," he said. "You can learn. Let's talk. I'll help you." That day, they talked for 1 hour. Arav listened. He asked questions. He tried new words. When Mr. Leo left, he said, "You are smart, Arav. Practice every day. Speak, read, listen, write. You will improve." Arav nodded. He felt happy. That night, he wrote in his notebook, "Today I met a real writer. He speaks English. One day, I will write like him." Part 3. The English Plan. The next morning, Arav made a plan. A big English learning plan. Step 1. Listen every day. He found English videos on his sister's small tablet. He listened for 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. Step 2. Speak aloud. He spoke to himself in English. He said, "Good morning, Arav. What are you doing today?" "I am learning English." Step 3. New Words Book. He made a small notebook. He called it My English Words. Every day, he wrote 5 new words with meanings and made short sentences. For example, wood, river. Meaning, flowing water. Sentence, the river is near my house. Step 4. English Friend. He asked his sister, Ria, to talk in English with him for 5 minutes every day. At first they laughed, they made mistakes, but soon they got better. Arav was learning, little by little, word by word. Part 4. The Village Challenge. One day, the village school announced a special event. It was called English Talent Day. There would be a speech competition, a storytelling session, and a poem reading, all in English. Arav wanted to join, but he was scared. What if I make mistakes? He thought. What if they laugh? But he remembered Mr. Leo's words. Practice, don't stop. So he wrote a small story, in English. It was about the river, the books, and the dream. He practiced it every night in front of a mirror. The big day came. The school hall was full. Children, parents, teachers, everyone was watching. When Arav walked onto the stage, his hands were shaking. He looked at the crowd. Then he took a deep breath and began. "Good morning, everyone. My name is Arav. I want to tell you a story." He told his story slowly, clearly. He made a few mistakes, but he kept going. When he finished, the hall was quiet for a second. Then clap, 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 they clapped, loudly. Arav smiled. He had done it. Part 5. A Letter from the City. 2 weeks later, something amazing happened. A letter came for Arav. It had a logo and a golden stamp. It was from a language learning school in the city. They had heard about Arav from the village teacher. They liked his speech video. The letter said, You are invited to join our free English learning camp. 2 weeks, all costs covered. Arev jumped in joy. His mother hugged him. His father patted his back. You are going, son, his father said proudly. Follow your dream. And so, Arev packed his books, his notebook and his dream, and left for the city. That's the end of part 1. Would you like me to continue with part 2? City life. English camp, new friends, more learning. Personal growth. I'll keep the language easy, natural, and filled with vocabulary practice. Awesome. Here's part 2 of the story, The River of Dreams. This part continues from where we left off and brings Arav into the new world of the English learning camp in the city. It's written with simple vocabulary, lots of repetition, and natural sentence flow to help improve listening and reading skills. The River of Dreams. Part 2, A New World. Chapter 6, The City of Surprises. The bus to the city was long and noisy. Arev sat by the window and watched the hills turn into buildings, trees turn into traffic, and silence turn into sounds. He held his bag tight. Inside was his notebook, a pen, a story, and his dream. When he reached the city, a kind lady from the language school welcomed him. Hello, Arev. Welcome to the English learning camp, she said with a big smile. Arev smiled too. Thank you, he replied, slowly but clearly. She took him to a large building. It was clean, bright, and full of other students. Some were younger than Arev, some were older, but they all had one thing in common. They wanted to learn English. Chapter 7, New Friends, New Feelings. Arev shared a room with 2 boys, Jay and Rehan. Jay was from a big town. He spoke fast and laughed loudly. Rehan was quiet but smart. He liked to read science books. At first, Arev felt shy. Jay said, "Let's talk in English only. It will help all of us." So they made a rule, English-only room. At first, they made many mistakes. Jay said, "I go to the market." Rehan corrected, "It's went not goed." They all laughed. They were not afraid to be wrong, because they were learning. Chapter 8, The Classroom Challenge. The next morning, Arev entered the big classroom. There were 20 students and one smiling teacher. Her name was Miss Rachel. "Good morning, class," she said. "Good morning, ma'am," they answered. "I'm happy to see you all. We are going to make English fun, simple, and useful." She gave them simple rules. 1. Speak every day. 2. Ask questions. 3. Make mistakes. 4. Help others. 5. Enjoy learning. Then she asked a question. Why do you want to learn English? One student said, to travel. Another said, to get a job. Rehan said, to understand books. And Arev said, to write stories in English. Miss Rachel smiled and said, that is a beautiful goal. Chapter 9, Words, Sounds, and Stories. Each day at the camp was exciting. Morning, vocabulary and grammar. They learned words like success, journey, brave, hope, learn, and how to use them in simple sentences. Afternoon, listening and speaking practice. They listened to English songs and simple news. They practiced role plays like buying something at a shop, asking for help, talking to a new friend. Evening, story time. Everyone had to write one small story in English by the end of the week. Arev worked hard. He checked spellings, learned new words, and asked questions. He wrote a story called The Talking River, a magical tale about a river that helps children find their dreams. Chapter 10, The Last Day of Camp. 2 weeks passed like the wind. On the last day, the students had a presentation. Each one had to stand on stage and share their story. Some students were scared, some forgot words, but everyone tried. When it was Arev's turn, he stood tall. He looked at the crowd and said, "Good evening, my name is Arev. I come from a village near a river. This story is called The Talking River. It is a story of dreams, hope, and learning." He spoke slowly, clearly, from his heart. When he finished, the hall clapped loudly. Miss Rachel said, "Arev, your story touched us all. Keep writing, keep dreaming." Arev smiled. His eyes were full of happy tears. Chapter 11, Home Again. Arev returned to his village. The river was still flowing. The birds were still singing. But Arev had changed. He now spoke better English. He wrote in full sentences. He even helped his sister learn new words. Soon, his stories were printed in the school magazine. One day, a local reporter came to his house. "We heard about your story. Can we print it in the newspaper?" Arev couldn't believe it. "Yes, please," he said. His story was published, and people began calling him the village storyteller. To be continued. Next up in part 3, Arev teaches others English, starts an English club in the village, gets an online writing opportunity. and reaches new heights while staying grounded. Would you like me to continue with part 3 now? Great. Let's continue the journey with part 3 of the River of Dreams. We're now getting deeper into Arav's transformation as he returns to his village and begins sharing what he has learned. This part includes plenty of English learning-friendly sentences, new vocabulary, and emotional moments. The River of Dreams. Part 3, Giving Back. Chapter 12, The First English Class. Arav stood in front of a small group of children under the big banyan tree near the river. He looked at them and said slowly, "Hello, my name is Arav. Today, we will learn English together." The children giggled. One boy asked, "Will we learn big words?" Arav smiled. "No, we will learn small words first, but powerful words, like he can and he will." That day, he taught them greetings, colors, and simple sentences like, "My name is Rohan. I am 9 years old. I love mangoes." At the end of class, all the children shouted, "Thank you, Arav Baya." Arav felt joy in his heart. He was doing something meaningful. He was sharing his gift. Chapter 13, The Village English Club. Word spread quickly. Soon more children came. Then some teenagers, even a few parents joined. So Arav started a village English club. They met every evening near the river. Arav made fun games to teach words. Word ball, sentence chain, picture talk. He also told stories, simple English stories with big lessons. One day, Arav told them about his speech in the city. He said, "I was scared. I thought I would fail. But I didn't stop. I tried, I learned, and I spoke." The children listened with wide eyes. They whispered to each other, "If he can do it, maybe we can too." Chapter 14, The Laptop. One day, Arav received a parcel. It was from Miss Rachel. Inside was a note and a laptop. The note read, "Dear Arav, this laptop is a gift from the language school. Use it to write more stories. Use it to teach more children. Keep learning, keep shining. With love, Miss Rachel." Arav had never used a laptop before, but he wasn't afraid. He learned how to turn it on. He watched videos on how to type and use basic programs. Soon, he was typing stories, making word cards, and printing worksheets for his students. Chapter 15, The Rainy Day Story. One afternoon, it started raining heavily. The children couldn't come to the river, but Arav didn't stop the class. He wrote a story and sent it to the children by mobile message. The story was called The Bird That Couldn't Fly. It was about a bird that had small wings and a big dream. Other birds laughed at it, but it kept trying. It practiced every day, and one day it flew. When the rain stopped, the children came running. "Baya, we loved the story. It was like us." Arav said, "Yes, the bird is you, and me, and anyone who keeps trying." Chapter 16, An Email from Far Away. One evening, Arav checked his email. There was a message from Mr. Leo, the traveler who first encouraged him. "Dear Arav, I read your story in the local newspaper. You've come so far. I now work with a children's magazine in Canada. Would you like to write a story for it? We'll translate it, but your English will be there too. Let me know. Aaliyah." Arav's hands shook. His dream was now real. He replied with one word, "Yes." Then he started writing a story called The Boy by the River, his own story. Chapter 17, A Message to the World. Weeks passed. Arav's story was published. The magazine sent him a copy. His name was printed in bold, written by Arav Singh, India. He held the magazine close to his heart. His father said, "You've done it, son." His mother smiled. "Your dream came true." Arav said softly, "Yes, but this is just the beginning. Let's move on to part 4 of The River of Dreams." Arav's journey now reaches a global stage, but with new opportunities come new challenges. This part includes more vocabulary, emotions, life lessons, and of course, English learning. The River of Dreams. Part 4, The Voice Beyond the Village. Chapter 18, An Invitation from the World. One morning, Arav was teaching his English class when his father came running. "Arav, you've received a letter from abroad." Arav opened it with trembling hands. It was from the World Youth Voices Conference, held in Singapore. The letter read, "Dear Arav Singh, we read your story in the international magazine. We would be honored to have you speak at our youth event. The topic, How Stories Can Change Lives. Travel and stay are fully sponsored. We hope to see you in Singapore." Arav stared at the letter. He whispered, "Me," speaking in English to the world. His heart raced. He was excited and afraid. Chapter 19, Doubts and Dreams. That night, Arav sat by the river. He looked at the stars and said, "Can I do this? What if I forget words? What if they laugh? The river flowed gently. The moonlight touched the water. His sister, Ria, came and sat beside him. She said, "Do you remember the bird that couldn't fly?" Arev smiled. "It flew because it tried. You will too, Baya." He nodded. He stood up. "I have 2 months. I will prepare. I will practice. I will grow." Chapter 20. The Big Preparation. Every day, Arev worked on his speech. He wrote drafts. He read them aloud. He checked grammar and learned new phrases, new vocabulary. Inspire, to give someone the desire to do something. Transform, to change completely. Voice, not just sound, but your ideas and message. He practiced in front of his family, his students, and even the mirror. He joined online video calls to improve his fluency and pronunciation. He recorded his speech and listened to it. Sometimes he made mistakes, but each day he became better. Chapter 21. The Journey to Singapore. The flight was long and loud. It was Arev's first time on a plane. He looked out the window and whispered, "So many clouds, so many dreams." At the airport in Singapore, a kind woman from the event met him. "Welcome, Mr. Arev. We're so happy you're here." He smiled and replied confidently, "Thank you, I'm happy to be here too." The next day, they gave him a tour of the city. He saw tall buildings, clean roads, and people from many countries speaking English. It was a new world, and he was a part of it. Chapter 22. The Big Day. Arev wore a simple kurta and stood backstage. His name was next. He heard the announcer say, "And now, from a small village in India, a young storyteller with a powerful voice, Arev Singh." The lights were bright, the hall was full. Hundreds of people watched. He walked slowly to the podium. He looked at the crowd and took a deep breath. Then he began. "Good morning, my name is Arev. I come from a village where the river sings and dreams grow." He spoke slowly, clearly from the heart. He told them about reading books by the river, about meeting Mr. Leo, about the city camp, about the first story, the children and the English club. "I'm not a perfect English speaker," he said, "but I'm a real English speaker because I use it to share love, hope, and stories." The audience was silent. Then they stood up. Applause, loud, long, and full of feeling. Arev bowed with tears in his eyes. Chapter 23. New Doors, New Dreams. After his speech, people came to meet him. A man from an international NGO said, "Would you like to write stories for children in different countries?" A woman from an online learning site said, "We want to make a course with your story to help others learn English like you did." Even a TV channel asked to interview him. But Arev stayed humble. He said, "I'm still learning, and I want to help others learn too." Chapter 24. Home is where the heart speaks. When Arev returned home, the village welcomed him with music, flowers, and love. But Arev didn't stop teaching. He started a small community English center in an empty room at the school. He called it the River of Dreams Learning Room. It had books, a computer, word games, and story corners. People from nearby villages came to learn. One student asked, "Will I ever speak English like you?" Arev said, "You'll speak better because now you believe." Let's now complete Arev's journey with the final part. Part 5 of the River of Dreams. In this part, he steps into the role of a guide, mentor, and author, inspiring others with his story while staying connected to his roots. The River of Dreams. Part 5. The Dream Grows Wings. Chapter 25. The Story Tree. Under the same banyan tree, where he once taught his first English class, Arev planted a small sapling. He called it the Story Tree. He said to his students, "This tree will grow with us. Every time someone learns a new word, we grow. Every time someone writes a story, we bloom." The children smiled and clapped. Near the tree, he kept a wooden box called the Dream Box. Every student could write a story, a dream, or a sentence in English and drop it in. Each weekend, Arev read the dreams aloud. One said, "I want to become a teacher like Arev Baya." Another wrote, "One day, I will speak on a big stage too." And another, "I want to write a book in English and gift it to the world." Arev whispered, "You will, all of you will." Chapter 26. The First Book. One evening, Arev opened his laptop and stared at a blank screen. He wanted to write something special, not just for the world, but for his village kids. He thought of the little bird who couldn't fly, the river that whispered stories, and the students who believed. Then he began writing. Title: The River of Dreams, Stories for Brave Hearts. It had 10 short stories, written in simple English. Each story had easy vocabulary, a small moral, a place for readers to write their own endings. He added illustrations from a local artist and simple exercises like fill in the blanks. Match the words and write your own version. He sent it to a small children's publisher. A month later, he got a reply. We love this book, let's publish it. Chapter 27, Mentor of Many. Soon, Arav became a mentor to students across villages. He started weekly video calls with learners from far away, even from Nepal and Bangladesh. He used fun tools, English tongue twisters, simple storytelling, games like guess the verb and describe the picture. But he also taught values. It's okay to forget. It's okay to speak slowly, but never stop trying. One boy from a nearby town sent him a voice message. I never believed I could speak English, but now I read a whole page aloud. Thank you, Arav Baya. Arav replied. You did the work, I just lit the lamp. Chapter 28, The Award. 1 year later, Arav was invited to Delhi. He received the Young Educator Award from the Ministry of Education. When asked what his secret was, he said, English is not a subject, it's a bridge to ideas, to people, to stories. Anyone can walk on it step by step. He thanked his parents, his students, Miss Rachel and Mr. Leo. He also said, I thank the river near my village. It was my first teacher. Chapter 29, The Return to the River. One peaceful morning, Arav walked alone to the river. He sat on the same rock where he once dreamed. He carried a small diary and a pen. He wrote, Dear River, today I don't come to ask. I come to thank. Thank you for the quiet, the stories, the courage, and the flow. I will now be your voice in the world. Arav. The river flowed gently, as if smiling. Arav closed his eyes. He heard the birds, the breeze, and the water, and in all of them, he heard English words he had once struggled with, now flowing freely from his heart. Chapter 30. The River of Dreams lives on. The village had changed. More students spoke English. Parents attended evening learning circles. The school had a new section, Creative English Corner. Arav's book was being used in 10 schools. His YouTube channel had thousands of viewers. He had letters from children across the world, but he never stopped teaching under the banyan tree. One child asked, What's next, Baya? Arav smiled and said, Next, you. Your story. Your voice. And the next river you help grow. Final words. Dear reader, if you've read this far, you are like Arav, someone who believes in learning, dreaming, and sharing. You may make mistakes. You may feel afraid. But if you keep going, your story will shine too. Don't stop learning. Don't stop dreaming. And don't forget, your voice matters. The end and the beginning of your story.